Hey, I'm back. And by the way, we should be live on YouTube. So, let's see. Da-da-da. Yeah, this is the one. Coding an interface around YouTube with video and React. So you can click and get that link if you want to later on. Now let's see, where were we at? If anybody has anything else to add, if not, we'll start coding. So, let's see. Yay. There's a lot of chat over there.
If we have any ideas, like later on, can we add them?
As a version 2, yes.
Ah, okay. I'll think about some as well.
I got this project lab freelance. So let's talk about it. This side, github.com/wowdope. And repositories, we should see. Why is lab freelance not here? My life freelance. Ah, it is. Okay, so I'm gonna copy paste this on Discord. On general, you got that link. That's for you, Alex. If you don't have the project, you could clone it.
What's this lab freelance? Okay.
Yeah. So now let's see, we are on lab freelance and I do have this clone and most of you should already have it because we've built it together, right?
No, because we did the live one. We didn't do the lab one.
That's okay, you can clone it. It's on wowdope. And the link is on wow general. So far it should only have a basic component in it that only shows something that works with CSS. Probably a button, right? So if you look into app.
Fuck. Oh, okay.
See, this is what we got so far, nothing else. A button that shows in the browser. And of course, I think we already have set up in package.json concurrently with yarn Sass and remix dev. So we can write Sass if we want to style. And that's it.
Bear with me a second.
Yeah.
In this case, which I need to be on?
Just a second. So.
A bit confused because I have
In a
now
second,
three brands.
you'll get it. Okay, so I got the project. Everybody should have branch either main or dev over there. Let me see if we have dev. Yeah, we do have dev. So you should be on branch dev if you aren't. And I should be as well.
There.
Yeah, should be, yeah, all good. So, this is what we want to build. React YouTube live event logger. So I'm gonna go into the lab freelance project, into the issues area. And I have milestones here, 0. And I'll create a milestone. React YouTube live event logger. Have a live event logger save data around a YouTube video.
Can I have a question?
Timestamps. Yes.
So I opened the project. project, which I have already on my desktop,
Yeah.
like freelance. When I want to go git check out that's 1991, it's saying did not match any files.
Okay, you can share your screen if you want to. However, let me finish with this milestone.
Mhm.
And
Sure.
once I got this milestone, and because also I'm part of the organization, I already have access to the, let's say, project, the bigger project planner. However, you could also go into the section projects into any project and create a project here if you want to. Now we do have projects, and I'll create just a simple issue just to test out. And I'll assign myself to it. I see that I can have labels. As projects, I can choose the job one. And as milestone, I already have this one over here. So I'm ready to start creating more issues. I'll stop my share screen and let you share yours.
Okay.
Okay.
Can you
So
see my?
where's lab freelance sitting? Because I don't see you having two folders. There's one for Agnes and one for Wowdop.
I think this was my personal project, and the other one I just cloned.
And where did you clone it?
That's a good question. Probably in the C.
Did you use git bash to do that?
Yes.
Let's click on git bash and it's already opened. It's already opened. You'll open your second one. Yay. So cd/d, cd code, and you just open this one. So this
I
probably,
think that's mine.
yeah.
And yours in the other one.
Do an ls here. Ls first. Let's see what you have in code. Okay, a lot of stuff. So I don't see walled up here.
No, it's in the C one.
Try fun. Do you have fun? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yay.
And there was a
Just change into it and do a list after that to see what's in there. See, you got my life freelance. This is not my life freelance. It's not my life. It's the lab one. So you need to clone it. On Discord, you already have a. Well, it's not this project. It's not my life. That's what I'm saying. It's lab.
Oh, okay.
So in Find the repository, just search for freelance, or click the link that is in Discord. See, lab freelance. That's the one. Anyway, as you are cloning it, I'm gonna go back here because we need to do some other stuff as well. Anyway.
Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun. Share screen. Cool. So we got issues. That's event to create. Now I want somehow to convert these ideas that we have into a set of tasks that we want to achieve. So the first one, it's a simple issue. I'm gonna go into it and edit it because I can do that. I can edit issues and change them later and change it to actually this name, React YouTube Event Live Logger. And I've already changed the name. There's also, hey, I can also edit the description or continue adding comments. My awesome comment. Hey, because I can do that. So let's not be shy about it. I'm gonna edit the description. And inside this description, I want to capture my intentions. And as a job member, I want to be able to log info about our live experiences and share them with the community. Yay. So that's good. Now I want to be able to join live events or create one. Okay, let's add maybe some hashes, live event. And if I click preview, this is markdown, so just as readme files, I can write markdown here. Okay, the live event should satisfy those abilities, particularities, I don't know, those requirements. Okay, I'm gonna somehow copy paste this entire thing and see. Yay, this is how it looks like. Okay, now if we are to talk about the name, let me type something here. If we are to talk about the name, is identifies the live event scope. What are we about to work on? Okay, ID. Then the ID should be used to be able to select it from the database, whatever database would be. Okay, I can also make this one bold and this one as well. And now it looks like this. Or if not, I could add backticks. That doesn't work. And it should look like this, whichever you prefer into doing your documentation. Okay, start time. Actually, it's start time like this and not like that. So for the start time, the current date time that we started recording the log for the video. Total duration. Not sure why we need this anyway. Maybe just to show it. Okay, we might need it to show people how long the video is, so it does make sense. Show it in the thumbnail as well as next to the big video section, whatever it would be. Video ID. Okay, and this video ID could be the identifier from YouTube or Vimeo. Yay. The platform for hosting. Project list. Now project list. If it's a personal one, we could add a name for it. Come on. And if it's not a personal one, Really? If it's not a personal one, could be a GitHub one, organization one. Then it will help probably be GitHub inherited data. So if it's a project that we are already working on it, we can grab the info from GitHub with an API request, and we can probably get a project ID and anything we want about it. Now in the event list, there's a key. That's something I need to think about. Why do I need it? And why does it matter? Then event title, this would be probably a short description. Usually a few words. A description, a short description to start with that can evolve as we need. Okay, what else do I want to do? I want to combine both title and description into one text area. That was something that came to mind as description. Step time, this is already described. Let's look into the preview. This is what we got so far. Key is not defined. Most of them are better defined than before. Where's right? I'm gonna update my comment just to save it. Now I'm gonna click back on edit and continue editing it. I can do that. You can do it. So where were we? Event title, event description, set time, and user ID. User ID. I've already worked on something. Not sure if it relates to it or not. However, I worked on a project that quickly grabs using OctoKit, a library, a suite of library of tools to quickly connect to APIs from GitHub. And with that one, I got a list of everybody in a team. For example, the teams that you are present on GitHub, I can read that data. So now when it comes to user ID, so far I've got a property that I know of that is called login. And this one would be, in my case, on GitHub, my login would be Marian Burlea. That's my ID on GitHub. It's called login, but it's your ID on GitHub anyway. And project ID, again, it's same as probably this one over here. So maybe I just say project. And then inherit type from the project list above, because it's the same. Okay, the mobile interface, just buttons, not the video. List of events, I've already said list of events here. Event list. Well, to be present, but not the video. We'll see. Mobile interface, update comment. Now this is what I've got. Hey. I'll copy paste this entire markdown on Discord. And let's see if you have any questions regarding this, and if you might start to write down a set of thoughts that can define an intention for you to start working on something easily as an issue in GitHub on any project you want. Let's see. silence again. I love it. You know, it's free to talk, right? If it would cost money,
Thank you
I
for
would
sharing.
understand it, but anyway. Cool. So now I've captured all of this over here in this comment. Now I'm gonna go back to edit it and try some stuff out. Next to those minuses, I'm gonna do like that with a space. And let's see what happens. Yay, it did work. Okay, so this is what I'm about to do. Wherever I have a minus, I'm gonna add the square brackets with a spacing between them, and I'm gonna also copy, paste. Well, I'm gonna copy it with the spacing. Yeah. Take that. Take that. Take that. Okay, you take that. You take that. See?
So that's basically how you start a project. Always, all
Yeah,
the time.
or at least this time.
Mhm.
Yay. Almost. I still have more stuff. Okay. Let's continue. User ID, and this one should be probably user ID login. Okay. Yeah, makes sense. But the project should be more here. Yeah, probably. Makes sense. And I got the list of things, and the last one doesn't really show properly. I'll investigate why. Dun, 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 dun. What's not working? Probably I need to do Shift Tab. Yeah, they do work now. This one doesn't. So there are a few. Actually, just one. One that doesn't work. It doesn't have a space. Yay, so identifies. So I'm getting better at it anyway. And since I'm here, I'm gonna also make it prettier. This key, I don't have a purpose for it. I'm gonna remove it. Maybe we'll have a key, but I don't see why I need to mention it. Maybe I thought about it out loud, then yeah, should be good anyway. And I'm gonna also update it on Discord. So now I have the latest version. So, Agnes, did you get this checkbox here?
Yeah.
Okay. What happens if you click on it?
Let me see. It ticks.
Okay. So now if we go back to edit, let's see what changed. All the way up, wherever I clicked, instead of a space, there is an X. So even if I want to change it from here, it does work. I've changed the third one, start time, I update my comment, and now start time is checked. So whatever it's in the source of that, let's say, description, this one entire, it might show it as checked or not, and it's also interactive. You can check it. That will create a new version of this description and save it for yourself, just like you'd go in edit. So see, yay. Cool. And now if you hover this one, you should see it slightly, that changes color, right?
Yeah.
Okay. At the end of it, you should see a button. If you don't see it, refresh the page. Dun, dun, dun. And now you should see a button, convert to issue.
Yeah.
Yay, click on it. Dun, dun, dun. And then on every other one. And now we get nice titles, I would say. Then. See, it converts to blue. This is what I see.
Yeah.
Okay. Dun,
So
dun, dun.
what GitHub can do. I didn't even know this stuff.
Yeah, somehow GitHub doesn't allow me to convert now. Doesn't really matter. What matters is we already have something to start working on, and we'll continue later on once GitHub comes back to us as working. If I'm to go back to the issues, now I can see a lot of issues over here. And at the same time, one of them says 18 tasks, the one at the bottom. It says 18 tasks because at some point we decided to add that, let's say, square bracket space square bracket or square bracket x square bracket. As you start to check more and more of them, this will have a preloader until all of them are done. And right now it shows that none of them are done. So if we are to start working through them, we'll also see a progress over here. So this is related to this only. Now, if we are to go back to this one, let's say React YouTube, which was my first one, I can see that it has some other, let's say, properties over here. One would be backlog refinement to do, progress, review, QA, and done. We'll get used to those let's say, namings. Mostly what we work with is we take things from to do, we move them into progress as we start working on them. As we are about to finish them, we send them to review. Sometimes there's somebody who does QA, and as long as everything is nice and dandy, we move it to done and we can move to the next ticket. So we'll be talking about what sounds in the future, what backlog means and how it relates to Agile and so on and whatever. Then the milestone is going to be React. And let me do something else. We got the project, we got everything else. I'll quickly create a new issue just to test something out so you can see, and then remove this issue. So test something out. Okay, so new issue. I'll assign myself to it. Doesn't matter what label, I'll just pick a random one. And then this will be the project, and what matters is this milestone. So now this will be my second issue that I've added to the milestone, and it doesn't look like anything happens. However, if I'm to close this issue, something happens. You can see the milestone now shows a progress bar. As soon as you attach an issue to the milestone, it adds it as something to be done in a list of things for that milestone. You can get to the milestones from issues, milestones, and then you can see it bigger. And if I add one more issue to it, let's do that in a second. I'm gonna probably choose this one and milestone. Yeah, React YouTube. Now go back to this one, and when I refresh it, because I did one more, now there are two issues that are not done and one that is done, and all three of them are part of 100%. So now over here you'll see the percentage of total issues added to this milestone and also how many of them are done. Whenever you reach 100%, it means your entire scope has been achieved. And it's quite quick to do it and manage it with just using what's available on GitHub already. Now let's get back to those issues. What I will do now, I'll select all of them and then go to milestone. and choose React. Now it takes a while because there are 9 of them to be changed, but it does it for all 9 of them at the same time. And now if I go to milestone, I can see that it's now a lot less because I've just added a lot of issues to it. Yay. Now let's get back to issues. I'll assign all of those ones to fit. There are features. We need to develop them to enhance the product. And then we got label project load up. You can do this one by one, or you can do it like this with multiple, and I'll assign myself to it. Yay. Now as GitHub comes back to us and allows us to create more issues quite quickly, I'm gonna go into this one and I'm gonna click on those buttons until I create more issues, or otherwise I'll create them manually and that's it. The important thing is that I want to track my progress, and this is how I could do it. Now, quick break to see where everybody is at, and if you have questions.
I think I can do the issues on my end and you'll show on yours as well. So just give me a second.
That's okay. Now let's open Visual Studio
Oh
Code
no,
as
it's
well.
dead. So GitHub is dead.
Yeah. Sometimes they go.
No, wait. So it works with some of them. It doesn't work with all. Wait a second. Yeah, no, it doesn't work with that one. Right, so apparently, see, look, with this one it works. Right, let me do the one that works then. Right, so apparently the children don't work. I don't know why.
Doesn't matter. Let's leave it like that because it's not important.
Yeah. But it's only 4 left that for some reason they're stupid. Right, those 4 don't work. No way.
So what I do have right now in this lab freelance is just some text and a button that doesn't do much, right? And what I want to do now is to either create some spacing for the video to be present over there, either import it, or if not, create some buttons. What do I do with the buttons? Probably use one of them to create the event itself, somehow capture that data. If I am to then have an event, I can have more of them. If I have more events, then I can go into one or the other and do something about it, either update it or remove it. We could work on something like this. However, I don't want to work inside Lab Freelance because this is a page to me and I want to separate this experience. So I'm gonna go somewhere inside component and create my first component related to this. Now, how should we name it? YouTube Logger could be one naming. I can change it anytime later if I want to. Do you have a suggestion or? Vivi?
No, just sorry, just a different question. So at the moment I'm on main. I should do a checkout on dev and do my own dev.
Well, you could do your own dev,
live.
or you could follow this one because this one needs to somehow happen together. We can even share it. However,
Right, okay, it's fine.
I want to focus ourselves after we get this ready to focus ourselves on everything else afterwards, because then we'll have this. So this one doesn't need to be something that, let's say, happens right now as a sure thing. Because I'm in my laboratory, I can experiment. You can work together on this one, or you can work on your own on the private one. Everything that I master as a technique or some way of building websites from the laboratory, I can easily replicate it into any other project. I just have to choose one, right?
Yeah.
So now I want to make this experiment like YouTube Logger, and I'll start creating a basic component, just like we are most of the times doing. So I'll create an index.ts for it for exports, and then a new file YouTube logger.tsx for my component, and then a new folder style, and in that style YouTube logger.scss file for styling. I see that yarn dev is not started. Yarn dev. If dev would be started, I would get that file, right? Because it only converts it once we start concurrently and yarn sass, right? Okay, so now I only need one more file in my YouTube logger to start with, which is the type one. Type.ts. Yay. So now let's see. YouTube logger. In this type, I want to define some kind of structure. And if we are to look back in here, we want to have a list of live events. So we can already see name, ID, start time. We can start with those ones. Name, and usually this one looks like a string. Then ID. If I don't know much about it, I'm gonna do string, because even if I give it a number that looks like a string, it's still gonna be good. And then what else? We could do start time, video ID, start time. Not sure right now. I'm gonna do a string, but I could do later on a date, possibly. However, I could also do a number if it's, let's say, the number of seconds. I'm gonna figure it out. Maybe I do number or string. Yeah. So as I grow this type, I also wanna make use of it. So in multiple places, not just here. So to do that, I'm gonna assign it to type YouTube logger. And then I'm gonna export that type so I can make use of it in other files. And I already got a starter. I'm gonna come back to it. However, questions about how to start a type based on those requirements? Could you do something similar in the future?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. By the way, this looks quite similar to objects in JavaScript, with the exception that objects need commas here. This one is optional. And in objects, if you don't actually have string as a constant somewhere created, you might need this for objects to be valid in JavaScript. This would be an object in JavaScript. This is a type that's not too far away from objects if you want to kind of think about them, right?
Yeah.
So now let's get back to my main component. I'm gonna create a constant named YouTube logger and assign to it the value of a function. And then I'm gonna export this YouTube logger from this file so I can make use of it later. Because I'm inside Remix, I also want to create a constant name. Let's say YouTube. Come on, YouTube logger. G. That's it. Logger link.
Sorry, let me ask you something. Do you know if there's a button to always on top the zoom?
Always on top zoom. Not sure, but it could be in settings for zoom. If you find it out, let me know.
It's
And
really annoying.
I'm gonna assign to this constant the value of a function that returns an array. And this function, I'm gonna type it to links function. Okay, and I'm gonna go to the top and add type. So that import is a type import. Yay! So in here, I want to return at least one object, and this one needs a relation style sheet, and then an href of some style. Okay, now the style is going to come from this file, YouTube logger CSS. We don't have much styling happening. However, it's a file, it's present. We can work with it later. So let's get back and to over here and also import that file. So import, and we'll give it a name later on, from the style folder, and then it's YouTube logger.css as far as I know. Yeah, YouTube logger.css, style YouTube logger. Yay. Now I'm gonna name this YouTube logger style. And make use of this naming in here instead of some style. So now we have prepared the function that returns this style in an array kind of way that Remix likes. So Remix needs this. Now let's go back to our route somewhere and think about where we want to see this. If we want to see this experiment directly on this page, then we need to import YouTube logger on this page and also the links. If we want to make a separate page, for example, a page named test YouTube logger.tsx, then we need to deal with it over here. I'm gonna choose to deal with it separately, so we know now how to deal with multiple pages in Remix. For this one, I'm gonna do const. I'm gonna paste this thing in here and try to see if I have some camel case. Yeah, I do have some camel case. I need just capital T. So const test YouTube logger, and the value of it is a function. And let's export. Since this is inside the route, it intends to be a route component. It needs to be default this time. Okay, and in here, inside the body of it, I'm gonna return. I'm gonna write some nice JSX using those round parentheses on multiple lines. And now this is div h1. Let's give it a name. React YouTube live event logger. Test React YouTube live event logger. Yay, and I'll also add one more paragraph with any text I want here. Yay. Now this test YouTube logger is a component that gets exported as default inside routes. It sits inside routes, therefore this naming, we can make use of it and go to localhost 3000 / the name of that file. Now you can see test React YouTube live event logger, and this is landing page, the big index, and this is the file next to it, next to index. Those are the two pages inside routes. Now I'm going to go inside index, the big one, and I'm going to add one more paragraph. And in here I'm gonna type some text. If you want to save time while browsing long videos on YouTube. Cred că e cineva la așa, nu? Try YouTube live logger. this one, I want it to be clickable. So I'm gonna wrap it in an anchor tag. Wrap and anchor tag. And the href for it is going to be the name of this file. Okay, command B, command B, command B, yay, with a slash in front of it. I don't think we need a slash for this particular page because we are already on.
That was my next question. So do you need in routes? Do you need the slash before it?
Well,
or
in this
not?
page, no. In other pages, yes, because this is the landing page itself. Slash is still itself. So even if it's absolute or relative, it's still in the root of it. So it doesn't really matter right now. However, in the next ones, if you encounter something like this, then the way the browser sees it, even if it's not there, the way the browser sees it, this is a folder inside this folder. So therefore, if you don't have a slash, it's gonna go exactly here.
Yeah.
You can do dot dot, and if you do dot dot, I just duplicated that up. If you do dot dot, you're getting here. If you do dot dot, you're getting here. However, the relative path starts here, wherever the last folder ends. Now, if you're doing a slash, it says, well, whatever you're saying, you always start from here, and you do have to say image and test YouTube logger to get to this path. The same way you need to do dot dot slash dot dot to get here if you're here. So, however, you with an absolute path, if you always start from here, everybody starts from there, right? Cool. So, with that said, we should have a link. That is not here. That is here. YouTube Live Logger. And takes us to this page. Now, you might notice that while you click on it, there is a refresh happening. Although it's not too much text happening, there's like a quick refresh happening. And this is because it just jumps from one page to another using the anchor tag link, which is definitely okay. It's not something bad. You could also make use of link that comes from Remix React. And the only thing that changes is with this href that needs to be 2 now. Okay, and now if we go back, we can still see this link, and when we click on it, it's a bit snappier. It does change, but that refresh doesn't happen because now this is treated like React, like it would be create React app now. It does work in a different way. However, what it does is it mimics that it goes to this page and it renders the content of the next one here, just like React app would do. This link allows you even more than just this. It allows you to do prefetch probably. Yeah, prefetch. Prefetch, and if I say prefetch contact, well, or just prefetch probably with true. We need to look into prefetch how it's typed. But let's assume that it's like this. Or
That is
not.
prefetch.
Prefetch allows you to go on a page like this one, and because you're the webmaster of the website and you have statistics running around and you see how people use your page, you might see that 80% of everybody that comes to this page will always click on the same 2 buttons. One takes you to a different page, one does something else. Just saying. And now, let's say one of the pages loads quite slowly. It takes about 10 seconds to load because there is a big thing happening there. However, most people go over there, and because of this, some of them go away because they don't want to wait 10 seconds. So you might use prefetch for some of the routes that you want to get to from one place to another. And then while you still browse this one, you're reading it, in the back, Remix will fetch that route for you. And let's say 20 seconds have passed because you read about some event and then you decided to click on that button. Now the next route happens to be loading instantly because it has been preloaded. A quick history about what it should do, exactly how it does it. Let's figure it out together later. This is definitely present in Next.js 12.13, whatever version should be present as well over with prefetching. Yay. Now I want to add another link back to this one, back to the home page. So in order to do that, I'm gonna go into the page that I browsed to in a second. This one, which does nothing. No, that's the component. This one is the page. Okay, this is the page, and I could add at the top of it a link that comes from Remix React, and then to is going to equal with just a slash back home, and then a title go home. Yay. And now I have a link that takes me home. I have a link that takes me to the page, and everything works nicely. Now, this is routing in Remix. Not sure if anybody has dealt with React Router DOM before or anything else. However, we got 2 pages and we know how to navigate from one to another.
So basically, you can use link like a nav.
Yeah, kind of like React Router DOM that you use to create a navigation, yes.
Okay.
So
that's really easy, actually. Okay.
in terms of creating more routes, if you want to create well, you can definitely read more about Remix, right? So Remix Run has a lot of documentation, right? I'm just gonna point out some of the ones that matter to us right now. And by the way, it's not a lot of it. It's quite a short one compared to other ones. However, you will encounter some new findings for sure over there. And even if I try to iterate for all of them, sometimes it's not happening. So definitely check that one out. However, in the routes section somewhere here, even if we search about it, routes, see, you might get some more info about, come on, just see, up routes, and then you might have a folder, post, and then a file, first post ndx. Yeah, and somewhere later on, let me see where routes are explained. Maybe I'm not on the correct page. Come on, this is routes. Okay, simplest way to start this MDX. Maybe I'm not in the correct way because this MDX, I don't need routes in MDX. I just need routes. Come on. Okay, remix config routes. Probably this one. Not sure. Yay. Let's see. That's a different one. I'm gonna explain to them and as I know them, and then when we figure out how to navigate this. So everything that is inside routes becomes an accessible path, and if you
Marian,
want to create
do
a
you
folder,
have... Can I disturb you?
yeah, sure.
Are you doing live on YouTube now?
Yes, I'm.
Well, I wanted to show you my project.
Okay. Let's do it as we take a break. We shouldn't be long from that.
At 2 o'clock I have the meeting, so it was nice to.
I'm sure
I get an error.
You can share it too on Discord if you want, because Discord is not live.
Okay.
Okay. So until you share it, I'm gonna continue this one. So contact now can be accessible not just because you created a folder, but if you create a file inside it, index.tsx, and then you have a component here, then you got the route /contact. Now there'll be some other ones that we'll learn about in the future in terms of if we use a $, in here or not. That becomes a variable that you can capture in params and so on. For the sake of it, you just create folders or file names like this one, and you get routes out of them. In this contact, if you create a new folder test, when you get in this folder index.tsx, then you have the route /contact/test, and then whatever component you have in here will be present on that route. I'll let you experiment a bit with anything that comes to mind as folder names and files inside them. You want to create basic components inside them with not necessarily link anything basic that is different from one file to another, and then try to link one page to another. And if you can manage to do that, it means we can move on. Until you play around with it, I'm gonna switch back to Stefan and see what the issue is. Do you have questions about this before I switch to Stefan?
About what?
About creating folders and placing components inside them, and then try to link them together.
No.
Okay.
Are you watching my?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So basically, I'm getting this error all the time. And
Okay.
I don't understand why. Because
EOF is in the file.
Okay.
So there is an error. Somehow the data is not closing properly, or whatever you're sending, it's not having the correct format. It might have like an extra spacing, like an extra enter, or missing one. EOF, it's in the file so far.
Okay.
So maybe you're not constructing the body properly, or you're altering the body. That no, it has a different shape. That it's
Well, the body actually, the body where the body it's over here.
Yeah.
So maybe is this space?
no. It's stringify that. I'm sure if the object looks right, then JSON stringifying is not gonna fail. So it's not that thing, because everything looks right. It's just an object with one property true. You can't get it wrong, right?
Yeah.
So it might not be that one. It may be in your logic, the way you play with the variables. It might be that you're using a variable somehow, or the naming of it, that affects that variable. In what ways? Calling some methods might be destructive, and calling some other methods might not be destructive. Now, if it's a method that is destructive, once you call it, that the previous data changed, the original data changed. That's what's called destructive. I'm not sure what happens in this logic, but follow it up to see if body gets changed anywhere. Cause
no, the body it's not changing anywhere. It's hard coded over here now.
Also, cookie loader null, is that okay? Not sure if that sends you some information on top of the green text in your console log.
Well, access token. You're talking about the access token.
No, there is a text in your console log, cookie in loader null. Is that giving any info?
Okay. This is coming from the cookie loader. Yeah, nothing to do with this function.
Doesn't affect you.
Yeah, it's nothing. That's from the cookie session. Yeah. So the body it's alright. Okay. Now if the box ID would be wrong, just let me see if I purposely send that. Okay. Get an error I never had before. Okay, now it's fine. Okay, let's see what now. Okay, and what was checked. Okay, it's okay. Now it's giving me a 404.
Which is different.
Error. Which is is the request resource was not found, and I think it's because the box. The box ID is but I purposefully I done that. So
just to confirm that.
Now I change it back and I push. It gives me the same error 400. with a, let me show. It's over here.
And does it
Postman
not do it over Postman, right? On Postman works as expected.
It works. It works. It works fine.
Completed body. Can you look at the headers that you're sending now and off?
Over here.
Yeah, so application JSON you're already sending, right? In your header.
Yeah, it's nothing else.
Okay. And then in off. In off, next to headers.
What?
Off next to headers. Left. Yeah, off.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's better token.
Which you are sending also.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a weird one.
Yeah,
because you're doing it from the backend, by the way, not from the front end. And backend shouldn't have any issues like cross origin and so on.
Yeah.
This request that you're trying to do now, you're doing it from the backend, right? Here.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yes, because here I'm hitting criteria server and I'm calling it in the action over here.
Well, you can mention this in the discussion that you're about to have with them anyway, right?
Yeah, but it's the thing is, if in Postman works, so it's.
I know, that's what I'm telling you. You can mention this in the chat with them.
Another problem is that I cannot fetch only one box.
You can fetch more, but not one.
Yes, I can fetch all from a box.
Well,
but
that's a failing API, not a front end. So mention this to them when in this chat, because the API fails. Unless you have seen it working in any of their demos on a single item, and unless you have seen it like that, it looked like to me like it doesn't work.
Yeah, it doesn't. Just doesn't work. This one, let me see fetch one criteria. Let me see here. Yeah, box criteria.
Contact.
Is you want? Yeah. Is that why? Because this endpoint is wrong, I think. So it's been boxes. So here should be box miss. V1 box. This is okay. Okay.
Options it. Okay.
Interesting. It's saying it's complete. It's saying it's working. You see? So this is the 911. But when I go and fetch it, it's not completed. It's not working. Actually.
Yeah. You can also tell them that because it says okay, but it doesn't make the change in the database.
Yeah. So I'm gonna make a note now.
How are we going on the other side, guys? Did you manage to create basic components?
Yeah.
Okay. Now I've created some of my own. One is named contact, one is test. Probably you have similar ones. So if I'm to go to contact, I can see my contact, and if I'm to go to contact/test, I can see test, which kind of helps me more or less understand how I can nest them together to start with until we get to more advanced ones. Well, I would say don't spend too much time on this one. Just mention it in your chat, right? And if you want to spend some more time on...
No, it's so the verify works fine. The complete doesn't work.
mention it to them and then focus on other things, because you got like 15 minutes left. So maybe, I don't know.
Verify. Let me check verify then. Maybe verify works.
Anyway, I'll let you go with this one.
Okay. Yeah,
have fun with them.
Same shit. Yeah, thank you. A lot. I will have a lot.
I stopped sharing my screen. I didn't want that. Anyway. So let's see. Before we end with routes, let's explore what nesting routes means. And then it should be fine for us. Well, let's think about nested routes as the very first route could be thought about, let's say, the entire screen or not. Then in this route, we might have, let's say, a menu at the top, right? We might have a footer.
Fucking can't.
We might have a side or two sides. And at some point, we got some content that changes from one part to the other. However, the rest of them repeat. So if we are to think about layouts would be, the bigger one would have all the ones that repeat. And then inside it, we'll have a section that changes from time to time. Now, the smaller one would be the child of the bigger one, and the top one could act as a layout for the smaller one, in terms of, instead of building 10 pages and then all 10 pages we need to make the functionality of the top one be present, or the footer to be present, we can just have it saved into the entire layer and then somehow point to where the smaller page should be present, or at least the small section that changes and it's unique. In previous times, we used to use extend and have a base layout in Pug, and then we'll have unique pages that would extend that layout. This is exactly the same thing. It's just that it's a little bit clearer on how to understand how it works. Now let's see how it actually works. In order to convert any page into a layout, I would say, from the pages, we so far have this test YouTube logger, right? We also have contact with this index, and this is a route. And in order to, let's say, make contact the layout one, all I need to do is instruct the browser that here children feel good. And the children would be outlet, like that. So outlet is what Remix uses to allow you to create layouts. Now, if we are to type outlet like this over here, now let's go to this index and browse to it, and we should see more, although I don't really see more. We should see more, because this one has outlet, hopefully. And we don't, because something is wrong. We might ask for Stefan's opinion.
You're on test, you're not on.
Come again?
Yeah, I think you're on test, you're not on contact. Are you?
Yeah, but contact should hold test.
Oh, yeah. Oh, right, okay.
Why does it have only MDX API routes? Basic routes. Yay, this is it. Okay, let's explore. Oh, so I need to make it like this, but not really, because this one is inside it. Since we got blog. Okay. And this is the block with the post ID with $1 in front of it. We'll talk about it later. However, where's the route? We also got __. Haven't used them so far. Blog authors. And this is the outlet. Yay. Where is outlet explained? Yay. In the blog TSS is a layout route for everything that within the blog directory. Blog index, blog categories. When the route has the same name as its directory, so that's what's missing. When the route has the same name as the directory. Okay, so we do have this index here, see? Which so far converts to contact. And we can see the page and it does work. However, contact and index don't have the same name, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rename this to contact. And I don't want to have contact inside contact because this will give me this. Which is still okay. This is what it does, but that's not what I want. I'm gonna move it outside, inside routes. So now, if you look at it, we have a folder name contact and a file name contact. Let's see if this one works, because this is what this one says. A route has the same name as its directory, and we achieved that, right? So we got blog tsx and blog folder, right? Well, we got contact and contact. So now, fingers crossed. Well, contact works. Let's see contact test. Yay, contact test works. In what shape and way does it work? In mysterious ways. I'm gonna wrap this entire content in a div. And I'm gonna go to this div and say style and give it an object with background color and choose the color red, light red. Do we have light red? Yeah, doesn't work. Background color light red, because we don't have the color light red. Light blue. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna take a break anyway soon, so thank you. Okay, so then I'm gonna go into test. And into test, I'm gonna change the color of this div to style background color, no, background color light green. Yay. Now I got them. Is it clearer now what happens? Vivi?
No, because I'm a little bit I was looking at something else and I'm a little bit left behind.
It's okay. I'm gonna create a new component inside contact a little bit behind. Yay.
Yeah.
And inside a new file, index.tss, const a little bit behind equals a function. Okay, export default a little bit behind. Okay, and then in here we can return directly a div and each one. Whatever. Yay. Where back online.
Okay.
Cool. Now the idea is that a little bit behind and test both of them are under contact, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So now if I go back to the browser and I can see that I see this test, right? I'm gonna duplicate this page and then put them side by side. And for one of them, I'm gonna change this to a little bit behind. Now you can see here, yay, we are back online, and you can even see that this one doesn't have a green background, although you can go and change it to any background we want. Right, style, background, color, light, oh, actually pink. Yay. Now, what repeats is the contact, because it's a layout. And inside the contact, actually it's behind it, but inside the contact, if you're looking as HTML, see, somewhere this is our style with contact, this is our page. We got this thing that repeats, and inside it we got the children, because we placed them after this content. Wherever we place outlet, that's where they get printed, kind of. Yeah, so if we move outlet on the top and save it, now I can see that contact is at the bottom, because children always come at the top. We can place this in any structure we want, and it will be there. We can have an unordered list.
Okay, so basically outlet is children, but basically children means whatever is subdirectory to the main one.
Exactly.
And if you put a little bit behind in test, will that be still a children of contact? I mean,
if you put outlet in test,
a little bit behind will be after test.
You also need a new file, test.tsx, to leave not in test, but in contact. Okay, so now we kind of repeated a bit what we've done. So there was a contact, both file and folder at the same level. And now this one is just a child of contact. Test is as well a child of contact. However, test itself now can become, if you're using a component with outlet, a sub layout itself. It's a children layout of contact, but it can have inside it now multiple pages, and those pages are children of test. So you can further extend this functionality of having a page and a folder named wherever you want it. And as soon as you do this, now you can use outlet, and then you'll have an even smaller part of test dealing with that bit, right? Was that your question?
Okay. Somehow, let me just figure out what's wrong with mine, because I need to figure out what's wrong with mine. Right, so this is
outlet, and then inside text. Export, come on. Okay, new file, 2.tsx, const 2. Contact test. Test is no longer because I named text. Are you okay?
Yeah.
I had the typo in the
body. It was inside the header. Yeah, that was.
So Vivi, here's an example of what I meant earlier. 1 and 2. Okay. So because now I've created a test.tsx and a test folder, and inside the file, not the folder, inside the file I have used outlet somewhere. I can even put it in between those ones. Whatever I want.
Yeah.
Okay. Now test is a subroute itself inside contact. Contact is a route, some like a layer route, I'll say. Then test itself is one. A little bit behind isn't, because we don't have a file name. A little bit behind that makes use of outlet. Right? However, in test we have 1 and 2. Two simple components, right?
Yeah.
And now if I change here to 1, I can see here that this is the outlet that renders just the component 1, right? In here. Green on green is bad. I'm gonna change. So this is the second outlet, and this should be the first outlet in the other file. So there is a layout,
Right.
and the layout outlet loads the children. Then there is a file for this one as well, and which has some content here, and then it loads the children for that outlet, which happens to be 1 or 2. Again, we'll explore this one in the future, how it makes sense that what this allows us.
For us.
Come again?
And why it's good for us is loading 2 in the same time.
Yeah. The idea behind is that, well, this is simple right now here, but think about a richer page with a lot of functionality, right? The idea behind this approach is that if a page loads and anywhere in its process of dealing with anything encounters an error, most of the times, unless you treat it, everything is going to break. Your page is going to break. You have to refresh and try to redo the same steps, hoping for an error not to arise again, right? Now, by using those layouts, we can definitely separate things as UI related, as how they look and where they're positioned. That's not necessarily the big thing about it, that you can do that. You can do that in so many 100 billion ways, right? The thing that is important about it is that because we have all those components separated, and they're also layouts and pages, then this page starts to load. It has its own loader. Maybe the loader of the page says, give me a list of links to build a menu. And then it does this once, and then it looks into the children and it renders the children. Let's say it does this, right? Now when you're switching from 1 to 2, because this was inside the route, you don't call again the database to render the top menu, because what Remix does is it only changes this bit part, the small one, the layout one, I would say, the children of the layout, the child of the layout. And in doing so, it only also requires all the simple JavaScript to render this page. So it's going to only download the CSS and everything that's related to this smaller part, which is a lot quicker than getting all of them. So this allows us to, let's say, somehow logically separate the UI. However, the benefit of it is that every subroute gets loaded separately, I would say, and it's quicker on the browser. Now, at the same time, if you're loading a menu here and some content of a page here and then some content of an offer here, let's say there are 3 loads that happen, right? At any given point, for whatever reason, one of them could fail or all of them could fail. Not most of the times, not all of them fail. Somebody will take care of fixing that. That's a bad scenario where your page is down for 1 month, right? However, some of them might fail for different reasons. And now if I have loaded the entire data for that page and a third one failed, now I can't see the entire page because something errored out and it affects my entire experience. What Remix does is it loads this one, and then if it errors out, it definitely everything errors out. However, if it doesn't error out and everything is successful, this bit here and this bit here are going to get rendered no matter what. Now it goes into this one. Now, because this one is a separate component and it has its own loader, its own error boundary, its own catch boundary, and so on. Some multiple, let's say, functionalities that deal with if this goes well or not. This on itself, if it's okay, it's gonna render, and if it fails, just this part is gonna show you an error. the rest of the UI is not broken. You can continue working with it. Now, this is a big win. This is a big win in itself. Now, again, if the second one is successful and the third one is successful, everything is successful. However, the third one fails, just with bit errors out, and you can still make use of the rest of them. So there are multiple reasons why we might be getting used to how to work with these setups. And as we work with them, we'll discover more and more of their applications. However, I would say for a beginner, this is exactly what you need to get started. And I don't think you need more to get started regarding routes.
Yeah, I don't think so.
With that in mind, now you know about outlet, and now you know you can somehow combine them. Now you also know that you can link from one to another using simple anchor tags, and that it does work. And by using the link component that comes with Remix, it's a bit more, I would say, not polished, because it's not about that. It holds a lot of good functionality behind it that you can make use of. Now, sometimes the anchor tag, the simple one, might be your solution. Not all the times, but sometimes this is what you need to work with, not that link. There are reasons behind it. We're going to talk about them. And most of the times you can use either of them. It doesn't really matter. But sometimes you need to use the other anchor tag and not the link in some scenarios. That's it about routes. Questions, and do you feel comfortable to experiment further into creating folders and files to see if what's in your head is what you get in the browser?
Yeah, no question from me.
Cool.
Right, so mine doesn't work yet because I have no idea what I just did. I was paying attention to different stuff, so I
That's
left
okay.
behind.
Let's look at your screen.
Yeah, we should. Right, so this is it, right? Localhost 3000.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So let's do, this is the index, right?
Yeah.
This is the contact folder in routes.
Yeah.
And
contact TSX.
In routes. Index TSX.
Not index TSX, because you no longer need index TSX since you already have contact TSX. Because contact TSX is the page, and the folder is just named the same, so it holds other pages inside it. But now contact TSX and index from contact would generate the same thing.
So this is contact TSX now, right?
Yeah.
And
you
index
don't need
TSX
index.
should be just...
Should be deleted. Because...
Talk to you later, guys.
Okay, have fun with your client. Let me know how it goes.
Well, I'm not talking to him anymore because he doesn't have time now. So we have to reschedule.
Ah, cool. Gives you more time to do more UI, right?
Well, yeah, but I needed.
Yeah, that's it. You've deleted it.
Some feedback from them, but well, it is what it is.
Sometimes they are like that. Sometimes they are hard to reach. Sometimes you're hard to reach.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, talk to you later in about 2 hours. Bye.
Bye.
Nothing happens. Why does nothing happen?
In what way?
It should have this.
I know.
Here.
And
printed.
Can you look at your console? If not this one, the other one. Yarn is already started. You have opened 2 command lines. Yeah, this one. Usually, if there are errors, you might also see it in here. Can you break this one and start it again?
Yeah.
Okay. Now let's look into your contact file. So you got like import outlet from Remix and React. You got const contact is a function that doesn't do anything. That function doesn't do anything. That's the problem. You have a body, and inside the body you have JSX. Well, you can either use that return or replace the curly braces with round parentheses. Undo.
Yeah.
And replace them with
Okay.
undo. Yeah. More. Yeah.
This is not the first time. I did this shit.
That's okay.
Oh boy. This is like the 10th time that I did this shit.
That's okay. The more you do it, and the more it happens, the more you'll learn to stay away from it. So this is implicit return because we don't have any logic. We could also do this and quickly return JS6.
Yeah.
If you need logic,
Right. So,
you need curly braces.
right. So let me just see now. So this is okay. So in contact, this is test folder, which has the index.
Yeah.
TSX, right?
Yeah.
Now this should be like this and test. I should have the same problem, shouldn't I?
Probably.
Because I didn't. Yeah, you're an idiot. Okay.
An easier way is to remove the second one. No, the undo. I'll show you an easier way. Okay. Remove the line 6. And then since you are there, shift click behind and, well, if you save it, it does it anyway. Usually I
What did you want to say? Shift click behind?
So select the entire thing, and then once you add the one round parenthesis, it adds both.
Ah, you want me like this?
Yeah.
I know. Okay.
Almost, because you have a semicolon at the end.
Yeah, I see it.
Cool. So now you see it.
Right.
It does work.
So basically, now if I want to do something, a children for test, I need to switch the index into a test TSX, and then for the children of test should be just index.
Should be anything else, because we are children, not index. So you shouldn't have an index once you have a folder and then the file name the same, because then both of them will try to generate the same file. A folder with an index in it or a file with the name of the folder will generate the same thing. So
okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So you only create an index when you don't want to name it, right? Or when you want to group stuff
but
together.
if you want to name it, you should just, so instead of this index, I should have just test TSX.
Yeah. If you want to name it again,
it's gonna be the same.
The index is like invisible there. You can make use of it, and when it acts like a folder, although it's still a file. It's gonna be index.html. However, it acts like a folder, so you don't need to add at the ending like /contact/me/.html. You don't need to add that. See, when you have index, it's like if you add it index.html at the end or not, it's still the same file. So that's the trick. Now, the file itself will create a folder with an index.html if you don't have the folder with index.html. That's what the file itself will create. The end product is the same. Two different ways of doing it.
No, I get it. No, it's fine. Yeah. Okay. Thanks. Right.
So good question, by the way. And I think now you've mastered the bit layouts, right? In Remix.
Yeah, I get it. Got stuck on why doesn't it fucking print, and because I'm stupid. That's it. Anyway, right now I know. Okay.
Share my screen.
Should we continue?
Yeah, unless you want to take a break and continue after the break. What do you think, guys? Are you?
I'm okay. It depends on.
Well, I don't. What you want? We can take a break. We can continue.
Let's look at the recording time. Where that one is. No, I don't know where it is. I'll find out. Ooh. Yeah, let's take a break. It's getting close to 2 hours. It's 1.5 hours. And the idea is once you go through video, it's easier if it's less hours to actually go through it top to bottom. If it's more than 2 hours, you might not go through it ever. So, or yes, maybe, I don't know. So 10 minutes break, 15, 5. How much do you think we should take?
15, fine.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get back in 15 and continue with this.
Okay.